So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make some of these oblong irregular links and flat shapes. And then I'm just going to do a simple demo on how to connect them. You can see on this piece that I've used some simple bead techniques to create attachments, this being a peyote folded wing, using a shrinkets here and doubling it over and layering. So this is all about like here, just doubling over. So I'm just going to be showing a simple attaching technique on this. It's not a whole class on how to make the bracelet. It's just how to make a link and attach these weird links. So first of all, I'm going to take this template that you can get on my website. It'll just be called Irregular Links Template. And I'm going to cut one of these shapes out. Now, for the demo, I'm going to pre-punch the holes. But often when I'm creating a necklace like this, I will do something without holes. And then I'll have my little drill there with its 5/16 drill bit in it, your little Dremel or whatever. So I can drill the holes in these afterwards as per my design. But this is just how to do, just how to cut these shapes and how to attach, just one simple little attaching technique. If you notice here, I've made some of these with kind of squarish edges if I want to use something like this here. This is just a band here and it's attached in the center. So the first thing I do is let's cut our perimeter shape out, cutting inside my pencil line. So this technique is just showing you how to make these, and then you have to creatively use them. You could make a pair of earrings with a loop. So I take if I have a bigger hole punch, I use a bigger hole punch. If I have my regular size that I like to use for the 1/8 inch that I like to use for shrink plastic, I cut inside and then I use my scissors and start working towards that perimeter. And I've got my scissors, notice, at an angle. Not cutting like this. I've got them at an angle so that I don't break this shrink plastic. Notice that angle. And these are Euro Tool scissors. They're Pro Shears. You can get them on Amazon. You can tell them by the red and white handle. So there we have that. And the irregular shape of it, the design, if I think I have something that needs trimming up, I fix that, allows me to have mistakes. I mean, it allows, the imperfection is part of the design is what I'm saying. So I can attach right here or attach like so. So I'm going to cut, if I was doing one that I wanted to connect directly onto this, like so, I would need 2 holes on this. Okay? To give me an ability to do that. And if I'm directing, just going into the direct link, like so. I can punch a hole there. And then I'm going to cut one more shape on this. Cuts outside that perimeter. Punch holes in here. Give me a start point. Angle my scissors. And this one will have no holes in it, and it will be, I'm going to cut some of those pencil lines off. And it gives me the option of just link to link. And I can do something like this. I can do something directly on this. I can go link to link, okay? So I'm going to shrink these. And I have my little block and my box to shrink them in and keep the heat contained. And first of all, I need to plug my heat gun in. Whoops. Sorry about that. We lost our lights. There we go. So I'm heating. And ensure that that cools flat. One. Using a block is really essential for these because it allows them to cool flat. And using a container keeps the heat contained so that the shape I'm heating heats evenly and it retains its original form, just going smaller. Have no idea. Oh, there it is. It's camouflaged. Okay, we've got our shapes ready, and then I'm going to do some stitching. So the configuration I'm going to be showing you is how to attach something like that, and then doing an open link like this. So I always use fire line when using shrink plastic because the edges can be sharp and break the regular beading line. So I'm going to start over on this side. Well, first of all, it'd be nice to thread my needle. And I'm going to come up the back side. Got that choked up a bit. Come up the back side. And then add the appropriate amount of beads that I think that it needs to cover the expanse and go around the shrink plastic link. So I'm going to make that 5. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to come down here on this side. Okay. And then I'm holding this tail, and then I'm going to put 5 beads, about 4 beads on this side. It's not going to need the same amount. And I'm just following the bead path. Everything wants to get caught on itself. Following that bead path around. Pulling snug. Going to keep following that bead path around. Pull those guys snug. And go around as many times as you can. Pulling that snug. Pulling that bead, pulling it snug, following the path. And might try to go one more time, getting a little tight in there. I think I'm going to skip that. And here's my tail. So I'm going to tie that off. So how I tie that off is I do a surgeon's knot. I've crossed over here. I wrap this tail around and around, and I pull tight. And I can do the same. I may just finish it with the regular one. And then I'm coming in here and cutting my line. And there I have, either way you look at it, I could probably added another bead there. But I've got the link that I want. And if I'm using white thread on something like this, I'll take marker and clean it up. But that just shows you the technique. Now, as I said, I could have probably added another bead to that and we wouldn't have seen the knot on that side. But this is for technique purposes. So let's thread our line. And now for this one here, we're going to attach this to this. okay? So how I'm going to do that, I like to choose flat beads where it's easy to hide. Like I say, flat beads that are, oh God, I'm forgetting the name for beads that kind of more of the barrel bead versus the totally round. Okay, so I'm going to have a starter here, and I'm going to use a tiny stopper bead. Okay, and I'm going to come through here and bypass that stopper bead. See? So that comes snug like so. I'm going to come down here and add that tail through that same hole. And if you can thread 2 lines on this, it's great. I have a hard time doing that, so I manually feed. So there I've got this going with the tail. I'm going to ignore my tail, and I'm going to come down here. And I'm going to come down here. And I'm going to place this bead on, and I'm going to put this little green stopper bead on there. I'm going to bypass the stopper bead. Not going to thread through it. I'm going to thread through the white and come up here. And these now have double threads on them. Oh dear, we've got this little gnarly knot. Let's get that undone. So I'm going to take my line off my needle or cut it. I might have to cut it. It's got a little tangle on it. And I'm going to come up here and pull all this snug, just like we did the last time. You see what's happened here? Now our 2 tails were met under here. And they're double through here and double through there. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a surgeon's knot around the hole twice and pull snug under there. And I really like this, using components like this that hide my knot versus this type of thing. If I had used 2 bigger beads in this set, like a bead to start with that was this size, I could have hidden that knot. Always try to think of your designs and where you could hide that start place. And this is a perfect example. Any of these beads. So I did that twice, and I like to use my X-Acto knife to cut, or my, as I did in the last one, my heat tool. So there we have swinging links. And that's just one of the examples. Now, if I had another link, I could go on and do this. I could do this type of thing. Just plain beads, but this allows these links to swing. So that's how I've done that.